Hello, hello. I am recording this sitting on an ice pack with stitches in my vagina. And it's an interesting story, and it's an interesting story in super traits, specifically tolerance. I had a tear after the delivery of my daughter. They tried to fix it, it didn't really fix. And then the doctor sort of said, well, why don't you wait? And then when you have your next baby, we can just repair it all at once. And this is, I don't know, maybe like 6 weeks postpartum with my first baby. And I thought, okay, like, makes sense. Don't want to undergo another procedure if I don't have to. Anyways, my daughter just turned 5. She just turned 5. And I've been tolerating having like a tear in my labia that I didn't want to be there. And I decided, well, I decided in the spring actually, but then you can't swim and stuff after. So I thought, anyways, I decided in the spring, I'm like, fuck this. Why am I waiting to have something done that I would like and it would make me feel better? Why am I waiting? Why am I tolerating? Because super traits. Today we're going to talk about hard work. If you were listening, you were taught that hard work is the answer to everything. Hard work will fix it. It will make it better. Your relationship, your libido, your career, things with your children. But what if hard work is the very thing keeping you disconnected from pleasure, from joy, from really receiving? When hard work becomes your identity, intimacy will start to feel like effort. Relationships feel like effort, not ease. So as I've said, super traits is not my concept. It is Sandra Brown's, and I will say it over and over ad nauseum. Hard work is a super trait that I made up. I believe this wasn't an original Sandra. This is one that I made up to speak to my specific clients, the women that have so much success in other areas of their life and they struggle with relationship, with intimacy. So hard work was not an original super trait. Hard work as a super trait, as it pertains to the last 13 years of experience that I have of helping thousands, over 3,000 hardworking, empathetic, well-meaning, people-pleasing women like you and me. Hard work looks like relentless responsibility, high tolerance for discomfort, right? Like when things are easy, and this happened to me at jujitsu the other day, there was something and it just came so easily. And it was like, well, wait a minute. That can't be right. I don't trust that. And that's how my clients are too. When things get easy, they often self-sabotage it. We almost take this pride in pushing through pain, pushing through confusion, rejection. We get this sick sort of satisfaction from it. Most of us have chosen careers where, I have countless medical professionals, accountants, like people that it's grueling to even get their title. And we have this inherent belief that effort equates with work. The more I do, the more I have, the more worthy I am. And myself and my clients were rewarded for it from childhood. We're the ones who hold it together. We're the glue. We don't quit. When other people would tap out, we don't quit. We're the ones that clean up the messes. We meet the deadlines at all costs. We stay late. We try harder. I'll never forget I had a client and I was helping her through a massive rupture, realization, betrayal in her marriage. And I was doing it from the emergency room. I was waiting to get admitted to the hospital. And she found it out at the retreat and she was just like, wow. And I've just heard that echoed so many times over the past few years. What I've gone through personally is the clients, when they hear my story and I open up to them about what I've gone through, and they're just like, and you have been able to hold so much space for me, right? And that's my hard work trait kicking in. It's probably a little bit of avoidance, right? Because if I can help other people, that's fulfilling, and then I don't have to deal with this shit in my own life. So being the hardworking one, it works until it doesn't. And it works until you're like, wow, look at this amazing life that I've built, and I have everything that I said I wanted, and I'm still not happy. I'm still empty inside. I'm not fucked the way that I want to be fucked. I'm not desired, pursued. I don't have the connected friendships that I want. So in relationships, this hard work, this superpower that we have turns into a trap. We start working for connection. We're performing our safety. We're performing in the bedroom. We repair for two. If you have done everything right, but you still don't feel met emotionally, sexually, this is for you. If your career is thriving, but your body feels numb and your relationships feel like a second job, you are not alone. Whether you have left, whether you are trying to repair your relationship, if you're single and you don't want to keep repeating the same patterns, the common thread is, how long can you keep pretending? What you're feeling isn't just stress, it's grief, it's loneliness. When you have super traits, there are ruptures in trust, in safety, in self, in our relationships. And I'm here to tell you, you do not have to blow up your life to start healing, but you definitely need a new framework. I'm Dr. Jordan Wiggins, naturopathic doctor, author of The Pink Canary, certified coercive control clinician, and creator of the pleasure-centered method. This is the Pleasure Principles podcast, a podcast for high-achieving women with super traits, the responsible ones, the flexible ones, the women who hold it all together. We were taught to earn love, to perform intimacy. What you were taught is a relationship problem, a libido problem, a communication problem, is almost always a pleasure and power problem. Every week, we decode the truth about sex, relationships, and pleasure for women ready to stop blaming themselves and to finally understand why this part of life has never quite felt right. You'll learn how the traits that build your success dim your desire and your erotic aliveness. Emotional labor, hard work is always going to erode actual connection and intimacy. Power dynamics mimic love but drain you. And trauma symptoms can get mislabeled as hormones or attachment style issues, having too high standards. This is your erotic and relationship re-education for women with super traits. Your blueprint for creating pleasure-centered relationships and a nervous system that no longer feels like it has to fight or earn connection. In the 8-week pleasure-centered intensive group, we started to go over things that we've been told about relationships or beliefs that we have. And one specifically stuck with me. And that was, marriage is supposed to be work, or relationships are supposed to be work. So when there are issues and when we are being told that marriage takes work, relationships aren't supposed to be easy, if you, as in the superwoman, does XYZ, then he'll change. So there's this underlying belief that if we work on it, we read the books, we do the therapy, we bite our tongue to keep the peace. We take 100% responsibility for the relationship's emotional, energetic connection, and we call that love. And I watch my clients grow and change and shift, and their partners stay the same, or their growth and shifting means that they are holding their partners accountable, and sometimes there's some turbulence or fireworks. Sometimes we are creating a safety plan. And I say that because I cannot tell you how many therapists and professionals there are out there that are not creating safety plans when they should. And I was in a couples therapy situation where a safety plan should have been created and it wasn't. And it kept me trapped in something for 2 more years. And it wasn't until a new therapist said, like, this is this is domestic violence. This is not okay. Here's what you need to do. Another 2 therapists after that. But when you're in it, you don't know. We have such a small view of what domestic violence, what we think it is, and then what it actually is. And I'm going to start talking about that side of things more because we need to hear it. And when I'm having clients create safety plans, which I've had to do about 6 times in the last 2 weeks, and all of these people also see therapists, and their therapists have not done so. So, anyways, I'm digressing on this issue, but I want you to know that if you have had a safety plan created for you, or you probably, if you have super traits and you are in a relationship, you probably should have had a safety plan created for you at some point. And my point in going down that tangent was that I want you to know you're not alone. And the more we grow and the more we hold our under-functioning partners accountable, sometimes things get a little scary, and we want to expect and hope and plan for the best. And we also need a plan for the worst case scenario. And I want you to know that there should be zero shame in that. I have some of the most successful women that I know are in relationships that have needed safety plans, and there is zero shame, zero shame. And where the shame should lie is that when the people that we are seeking help from, the psychotherapists, the couples counselors, and they are not recognizing domestic violence when they should, that is where this shame should lie. And also with the abuser, the person trying to maintain power and control. One of my clients said, I work with my partner. It's killed our relationship. The unpaid work that I do is enormous. I'm on his ass in our company and at home, and it's just destroyed the connection. So she is hard work to the max. She is overfunctioning. He is underfunctioning and letting her pick up all the slack. I have another client that says, like, I've invested so much. We have 18 years and 3 kids together. And I've believed that if I work harder, he'd finally meet me there. We seem to have this sunken cost fallacy in love that we've invested so much to walk away, even when we are the only ones doing the work. And we just think that if we could just do it a little harder or do it a little different, everything will finally come together. And this is a trauma response for women with super traits. I want to specifically tell you that sex for women wired with hard work, it just becomes another area to manage where we're tracking the calendar, counting, how long has it been, or how long can I push this off? Or, you want more sex than your partner, so you're tracking it in that way. And we're thinking, okay, if I can just relax more, if I can just fix my hormones, fix his hormones, if I make more effort, he will initiate or he will seek emotional connection. But I'm going to tell you, effort does not equal arousal. Desire needs safety, Desire needs reciprocity. Desire needs a little novelty, a little spice, a little space. These are all the elements that I teach in pleasure centered relationships. But desire doesn't need Excel spreadsheets and lists and performance reviews. It doesn't need you being the one to make the state of the union, like, let's talk about our marriage talks. And with hard work, I always want you to ask yourself, is this reciprocated? So if you are the one initiating these things, initiating the let's talk about our relationship, initiating the date nights and vacations, is your partner matching your effort? Your friends, are you the one doing all the plans? When your nervous system is in professional do, go, on mode, our pleasure centers are off and we are registering intimacy as like another task, not a turn on. So, and when we get in that state, we want connection so desperately, but we are able to feel and receive it the least. A problem that I see with women with hard work as a super trait is they seek help. They seek couples therapy. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why when you have hard work as a super trait, couples therapy will never fucking work for you. Not one time in the past 7 years has couples therapy worked for my clients who have super traits. And if you're not sure if you have super traits, take the super trait quiz. If you've already taken the super trait quiz and you want your full report profile, message me on Instagram at Dr. Jordan Wiggins. So many of you have responded that I have not been able to get back to all of you yet, but I will. I'm working on it. I have a block in my calendar every day to do that now. Couples therapy assumes equal effort, that both people want to fix this as much as the other, but that's not usually the case. It assumes that both people are invested in the repair the same. Again, not usually the case. It's usually one partner, usually the superwoman, is more invested in repair. She has been giving more than she has been receiving, and she wants to kind of balance the scales. Okay, but it's not how it works because overfunctioners, the super women, attract underfunctioners. They attract people that are invested in keeping things the same because it is exactly how they want it. So a superwoman ends up doing therapy the same way she does everything else. Over prepared, over analyzing, over functioning. Meanwhile, her partner coasts. Okay, and the therapist calls it a communication issue, a childhood trauma issue. But what is really happening is not being called out is a power imbalance. When coercive control or chronic underfunctioning exists, it is not a relationship problem. It is a one person in the relationship problem. And by making it a relationship issue, it's going to skew the dynamic worse. And a caveat here, I am not against all forms of therapy. You getting individual therapy, EMDR, brain spotting, internal family systems, like yes, yes, yes. And your underfunctioning partner doing his own work in his therapy where that therapist understands coercive control, isn't going to write it off as childhood trauma, isn't going to write it off as his neurodiversity, isn't going to make excuses for his underfunctioning while, you bear the brunt of it. You're in an extractive relationship because of it. When he can get therapy from somebody who sees it, that is useful. That is very, very useful. But getting an underfunctioning man or getting a man to therapy when he benefits from the power dynamic in the relationship as it is generally not going to happen. And that is why what I teach and all of my new work is shifted. It doesn't matter what he does. We don't need his buy-in. We are decoding our super traits, uncovering the real reason behind the disconnection and the erotic numbness. We are deconstructing the internalized narratives and patterns that cause the misalignment in our relationships. And we're rewiring, we're regulating our nervous systems and building relationships to pleasure. And that's for us first. Because if we can't do these things and we don't have the tools for ourselves, you better bet it is not happening in relationship. So when I started seeing this pattern in hundreds of women and in myself, the ones who have done all the therapy, read all the books, they still feel unseen. It's not a communication issue. It's not a love language problem. It's not an attachment style. It is a pleasure and power dynamic issue. And this is why I created the Pleasure Centered Society, a mini mastermind, a space for women just like us who are done carrying the weight and are ready to rebuild their life and love on new terms. We are decoding our super traits like hard work, so you understand exactly where things have been going wrong, what's running the relationships, our nervous system. You're going to learn how to stop repairing for two, how to recognize these invisible control patterns, the fact that we as women have been taught to believe things like marriage should be hard work, which leaves us playing checkers and everyone else around us was playing chess. So I'm going to give you the cheat code, how to build relationships that feel like partnership, not performance, not something that we have to work so hard for. And if you're wondering, like, why do I keep ending up in these one-sided relationships, even when I'm doing everything right? This is where you're going to finally get clarity. I am only taking 20 women for this mini mastermind. It is 6 months. You can learn more at thepleasurecollective.com/pleasure centered society. Head to the show notes. Check it out. Let's get on a call. This starts at $495 a month. Okay. Very affordable. We have weekly real life assignments so we can actually start rewiring our nervous system. This isn't a course that you are passively taking. It is a curriculum that if we put our hard work trait to this, which is usually going to mean doing less in a lot of areas, but I'm going to give you the tools to do less. We're going to focus on pleasure. We're going to focus on getting our power back because when we have super traits, we have been living life in survival and we just get more sophisticated at that survival when really we need to give up the survival tools and actually be present and available for real intimacy. And that is the hard fucking work. But I will tell you, it is so much more fun when you are doing it in a group of women exactly like you. Here's the truth. Healthy relationships do require effort, but not suffering. The work should feel mutual. You should both be active participants in growth. So I have a couple questions that I want you to ask yourself. What am I working for that he is not? What does he contribute to the success of this relationship? Is it easier when he's not around? Could I be happy if nothing changed? Now, if any of those questions made your stomach drop, it's not because you're broken. It's because you've been programmed to confuse hard work and self-sacrifice with love. Well fucked, fulfilled, happy women don't do that. They know how to receive. No, hard work is sacred when it is directed towards your own liberation, your own pleasure, your own fulfillment. And when you are in that state, you are magnetic and radiant and you attract everyone around you. The goal isn't to stop caring, it is to stop carrying others that are never going to pour the same amount of effort back into us. And when you stop working for love and start working from love, everything changes. And that is why I created the Pleasure Centered Society, where we do the work together. And a lot of it is really fun. And we get to figure out what happens when you stop doing 100% of the repair work, when you stop making yourself smaller and stop letting things go just to feel safe. Because when we can rewire our nervous systems, that we aren't the one putting in all the effort, that we aren't the one forgetting about arguments or not having our needs met just to keep the peace, just to feel safe, you start being met and you stop having to manage. So head to the show notes. Let's get on a call. Let's find out if this 6-month mini mastermind is for you. And I cannot wait to connect and cannot wait to see what shifts in all of your relationships when you stop letting your super traits, your survival, lead the way.